Greetings, brothers and sisters. I got a big thing I want to do at the end of this video. I want to talk about soul energy, people who are different from you in terms of your soul energy, and how that plays out and manifests in the world. I think is a important kind of subject. And to go with that, there's I got a comment I read yesterday on my other channel, the Apocalypse Now channel, on my Hollywood celebrities dropping like flies. I made a video that's still yellow here, so in that video I address how my community guideline strike was reversed on that channel. That's a whole thing, but I talk about that in a video that I'll upload as soon as they review it, which is taking forever. So I don't know which video will be up first, this one or that one. But anyways, this person who's a Dalai Lama denier, supporter, who says it's perfectly okay for him to ask kids to suck his tongue. And I got a number of comments because my video was getting lots of views. But the person left a veiled threat, right? like to me and my video, and I want to get into that. This Buddhist. So a bunch of things to get to today. The Fetterman's back, and he's trying to mock truthers or whatever he can do with his inarticulate caveman banter. Let's start here with Anderson J. Cooper.
Fox blinked on the day that Fox attorneys and the attorneys for Dominion Voting Systems, the company that was suing them for defamation, were to make opening statements in their $1.6 billion lawsuit. Fox decided to settle $787.5 million. That's how much the Fox Corporation will pay. It's half.
So this is significant to go with the Alex Jones settlement. They are going after, again, Fox isn't a truther, obviously a truther channel. I was watching Fox a little bit yesterday. It's harder for me to watch Fox than MSNBC or CNN, because CNN and MSNBC, I almost disagree with like 100% of what they put out, right? Like they're just going with the opposite narrative, and it's so obvious, and it makes for good content for me. Fox is like truther stuff. It's become like truther stuff for stupid people who are right-wing Republicans. Like, stuff that hints at truther narratives, but then they take it in some dysfunctional direction, some, Republican-based direction, and it's presented in such a remedial way. It's for like really stupid people who really can't be truthers, but see that the left has gone, nuts, or they were, Republicans beforehand. So Fox is really, really unwatchable in that way, because it has little bits of truth in it, or little, it has some templates of the, truth theories right, but then it just takes it in a direction that's completely wrong. And, it's, but whatever it is. But in terms of this settlement, I covered this movie, this documentary on HBO called Kill Chain, that was the left wing saying that it was so easy to hack these voting systems. But Fox couldn't, or told they shouldn't, prove that these systems could be hacked. I mean, I don't know exactly the context of the lawsuits, but after the Alex Jones suit, anybody who's questioning the official story, they're saying, can be sued for exorbitant amount of money, right? Like $1 billion, and Alex Jones, he's a shill, of course. But they're setting a precedent here that the lawsuit will always go in favor of the official story. Because we know that, things can be hacked, and these voting systems can be hacked. And then there's just the overall corruption that any company that would, be in control of these electronic voting systems. And, this is easily provable. There could be some, doubt or whatever it is. But Fox settled here. And so, Dominion suing all these Trumpers that were saying that their systems were compromised. So it's a kind of a big story.
Half of what Dominion says they were seeking, but a historic amount nonetheless. The Fox Corporation clearly deciding it was better to pay the money than have their star anchors try to explain under oath the election denialism and disinformation they either spread themselves or help spread by giving others who are lying a platform.
The big lie. Let me run my big lie compilation here.
is a lie. But this lie, his big lie.
The big lie.
His own big lie.
The big lie. I doubt any of them are stupid enough to believe the big lie.
Of the big lie.
By the big lie. Deranged by the big lie.
Continue to perpetuate the big lie.
That big lie and the big lie, because the big lie.
The big lie is the big lie is
The big lie.
this whole big lie election.
There is a new big lie making the rounds. And big lies, a big lie. These big liars
Is the big lie.
The big lie is just that, a big lie.
President Trump told a big lie, one of the biggest ever told. This big lie is perpetrate and act upon the big lie that Donald Trump perpetrated the big lie. The face of provable lies. Lies that right now are
Continuing. Big lie.
Trump's lies. Conspiracy theorists would rather travel across the country in service of the big lie.
Extraordinarily dangerous to spread the big lie.
Oppose the big lie. Standing against the big lie. Yeah, I said it.
We know that the big lie was cooked up.
You got the big lie.
About the function of the big lie.
Have been banned from sites like Facebook and Twitter, but his interviews with right-wing media where he continues to repeat the big lie.
They're part of the big lie. Goebbels and the great lie. You keep repeating the lie, repeating the lie. Big lie. People will know it's one thing for one man, one woman, to repeat the lie over and over and over again.
Night after night after night. In a statement after the settlement was announced, Fox said, and I quote, "We acknowledge the court's rulings finding certain claims about Dominion to be false. This settlement reflects Fox's continued commitment to the highest journalistic standards." Now, I just want to repeat that. The first part of it said, "We acknowledge the court's rulings finding certain claims about Dominion to be false."
What's the second part?
That might sound sort of maybe like an apology, but it's not. They acknowledge the court ruling doesn't really mean anything, and their description that certain claims about Dominion were false is vague at best. As for the second part of that statement, that this settlement reflects Fox's continued commitment to the highest journalistic standards, as Mike Wallace used to say when interviewing someone shoveling crap, come on. If there is...
Okay. Anderson Cooper gets to gloat here. Like they have the truth because, you know, the system has become anti-truth, right? More than anything else. Like truth is now... kryptonite to the system. That they're going after truthers and any kind of narratives that shine light on the truth more than anything else, right? And so this is what you see in 1984 and these other dystopian novels where they make you repeat the lies over and over again. If you say anything that goes against the system, the state, the beast, they crush you. Like that's where this is all headed because the system can't afford truth, right? Like the system can't survive truth. I've said this before. The truth that our money is worth nothing, that can't survive that. The truth that we're going against God's will, they can't survive that, right? The truth that all this stuff about wealth and fame and the pursuit of happiness leads you down a demonic path, an egotistical path. It can't support that, right? You can't have those ideas out there. You have to believe in a system that's crumbling, a system that's so fragile and vulnerable that's crumbling before our eyes. And then when they have to start selling to you or demanding of you drastic life change, they can't have any doubt or any, these ideas that are out there. So they're trying to squish the truth community. It wasn't like this in the beginning. Like I said early on, people say you're scared about what the government or powers might do. And I said, no, there's like different stages that they have to go through, right? First, they have to acknowledge these narratives, which they did, 2015 and 16 with the idea of fake news. And then they have to start suppressing these things through deplatforming people, and we've seen that. And then they start suing people, and then they start locking people up and killing them, right? That's the process, right? Right now they're suing and, then they'll be locking people up and then they'll be killing people. So, then it's time to be scared, right? But it's getting a lot closer than it used to be. So here's an example of how they are using this court ruling to control the official story, right? Make it the official story. Jimmy Kimmel busts shameless Fox News for already lying about their lies. And so they're gloating at CNN and MSNBC, and then these clowns here.
But no company in America had a worse day than Fox News today. That big $1.6 billion defamation trial was supposed to get going today, but it ended when Fox settled for $787.5 million. It's going to take a lot of reverse mortgage ads to pay that one off.
That's not a joke. That's not a professional comedian joke.
Immediately after the settlement, Fox issued a statement that said this settlement reflects Fox's continued commitment to the highest journalistic standards. They're already lying in their statement about lying. It's shameless.
It's shameless, right? And so this is what they get to do. They get to gloat because they, we know that things are easily hacked, and the Democrats were whining and complaining about it. It was documented in that documentary, Kill Chain. Amy Klobuchar and some of these other, Democratic politicians were trying to pass legislation to prevent the computerized voting systems because they were hackable, right? And, they could just out and out cheat. Like the systems themselves, right? People controlling these systems. Of course, the votes don't matter. It's all fixed. It's just all the whole system's rigged. Like it's even beyond that, right? It's beyond this idea of votes. They don't have to do any of that, right? It's just an illusion that you have some sort of freedom of choice here, so you participate and you feel like you're part of it and you get emotionally attached to one party or another. It's just, it's a scam. Within the scam, there's these voting machines, and now Fox has lost this suit, and then the left gets to claim how they're, the official story is always endorsed because it's a war on truth. See, how it works is, like, let's say somebody is accused of being a murderer. And before the trial, if you call that person a murderer, you could be sued for defamation of character or whatever, libel. But after the court rules that the person's a murderer, right, you can call that person a murderer. Newspapers, anybody, right, and print, all these things on the internet. But let's say the murderer wins on appeal and, they reverse the decision, the verdict. Then you can't call that person a murderer anymore legally and, in terms of lawsuits or whatever it is. And so that's how they control the official story, through the courts and through the mainstream media that says these are the facts, right? Especially for the courts, which are corrupt. We know the courts are corrupt. We know there's not just, there's incompetence there. There's lots of convictions that are wrong. Lots of guilty people get off, right? And so this is their way of saying, okay, this is the truth. Another way is through, laws passed by the corrupt politicians and things like this. And so this is how, some report that's given to Congress about like hacking or whatever. And then social media companies can say, well, this is the official story. And if you're saying things against the official story, we can put these blurbs under your videos, or we can, censor you in some way or another. Medical misinformation, you're going against the authoritarian story. And the authoritarian story is always BS, right? Its whole premise that there is an authority is BS. That there is a government is BS, right? It's just people saying, we rule you. I'm going to get into rats in a bit here. There's some rat stuff, but you can't keep bugs. And, while I was making this video, it's tick season, and I've thrown 7 ticks in the last, 18 hours into the toilet and flushed them. It's the only way to get rid of them. You can't even squish the things. They're built like little flat tanks. But our dogs bring in these ticks, and it gets, it's wet outside. The grass needs to be cut, and, all these things. Without having the cows, we don't have them eating the grass, so I have to get the lawnmower going, and the ground's still kind of wet, so it's not, whatever. I got issues with I got to clean up all the sticks and things. And also we go walking around the pasture, which there's, high level of brush and stuff. So the dogs get these ticks on them. And I was making the video, and this tick was crawling across the top of my, on the rim of the top of my laptop, right? and they're just all over the place. You can't stop nature. Like, they don't care about your government. They don't care about the government says that you through their authority own a piece of property. All the animals, there's, hundreds of thousands of animals in a, less than an acre lot, right? I mean, any place that you have land, the animals that are inhabiting the land with you don't, recognize your governmental authority, right? Neither does anything else. It's just human beings are, we the government says we own this, and the government's, God or whatever it is. And that's how they control the truth. But anyways, let's get back to it. Okay, so one of my viewers sent me this. Madam Expiration Date. Mexico, here we come. Her face, well, you can see for yourself here.
I can't kick your chair any harder. So
No, he said 1, 2. You
and I
kicked
kicked
my
your chair.
No, you kicked my chair. Then he said 1, 2.
The first thing is she does these family videos where it's supposed to be natural, but they're obviously all acting and aware of the camera. And Expiration Date is always the center of attention. But look at her freaking face. Like, this video, you really get to see her face. It's not human anymore, right? She's messed up her face.
Oh no.
Okay.
So bad. Action.
Where do you think you're going?
Oh, I'm taking
Sit
my
down.
plate.
Sit down. You got an announcement to make? Family and friends.
It's not that her face just looks weird, but it also doesn't move right. It doesn't move like a face should.
Putting more shows on sale. Got some chicken stuck in my throat. Anyway.
It's so weird. I wonder why that happened.
Celebration tour is coming to Mexico.
Dios mío.
So she's going on tour, and she's going to inflict her ghoulish presence in Mexico now, and their families are celebrating. Okay, so I've been covering the Fettermans. They've replaced the Baldwins, the Baldwinitos. Alex and Hilaria just stopped posting stupid stuff, and they're kind of hiding. I haven't checked their Instagram in a while, but they finally realized they needed to stop posting stuff. Giselle Barreto Fetterman is, great at posting things for herself. Here's apparently she says, officially that mom at games now.
Higher. You do, you're so cute.
So she's got a picture of her kid that she's going to wave at games because they can't, stand out enough in a crowd, right? With that big giant ogre, the witch and the ogre, and, Oh my God, so cute. I saw this on my other channel yesterday. I did a short video I just released today. And meanwhile, in Braddock, I thought these were a couple of fawns that they were going to eat, but they're cowboy boots. And so here they are. This is Judith Higgins passing. I covered that on my other channel. Here he is dressed for his work as senator.
Hey everybody, it's me, Senator John Fetterman, and I just want you to know that I'm back and I'm feeling great, 100%.
Great, 100%. Fetterman smash. Fetterman wish he could smash. Fetterman lame. He sucks so bad at this. He's so horrible, and they're talking about possible something bigger than Senate for this guy.
And during my time during the hospital, the Fringies really came up with a conspiracy that I have a body double.
They're playing the music, just the two of us. He called them Fringies, right? The Fringies.
And I just want you to know that is just crazy. That's not true. And dude, John, what event am I supposed to be doing this afternoon?
Wow, this is so bad. They just find new ways to embarrass this guy.
Dude, really?
I'm going to get into how stupid this the idea of a body double is in a moment, but he's horrible. Like, he can't speak or act. He's like the worst of the worst, and they're pushing this guy on America, right? The Fringies. Now, let me first just acknowledge that these theories that go out there just hurt everybody. They're stupid. They can't replace people with clones. They don't have that technology. And, people I mean, you can't prove it. You know, I mean, even if they were doing it, you couldn't prove it. It just makes the truth community sound stupider than whatever it is. You know, I don't care because it's all an ass show at this point. But they're stupid theories. And why would they have to replace him? He gives them everything that they want, right? Like, you know, he's got a wife handler. He's as liberal and I mean, there's nothing that he's doing that they would need to replace him. Now, if they know that the you-know-what is going to kill people, they don't give it to the people that people saying, he died from the you-know-what, and they replace him with a body double. You know, like why would they give him the you-know-what if he's a valued asset? The same with all these other celebrities and people. They give them everything they want. The celebrity isn't withholding anything. The celebrity isn't like not willing to do anything to stay famous, and like they'll give the beast anything. They're not, I mean, very few of these people have any resistance in them, any morality, any ethics, and so there's no reason to replace them. I mean, who are they, and how are they going to replace this guy? Like some inarticulate. I mean, it's easy to replace somebody who's competent. You can train someone else to act like them. But, it's this guy. I mean, you're not going to find somebody that's, going to look like him and then talk like him and the same inarticulate cadence and the rest of it. But having said that, I have the original leaked audio, which I always somehow get for these Fetterman videos. Hi, this is Fetterman. Yes, I got 2 thumbs. I'm that guy. Fetterman no longer smash. Fetterman get nuts clipped. Fetterman do lame joke here. Fetterman tired. Fetterman stupid. Fetterman handlers, here it is. People say that Fetterman have body double. Here is the joke. I'm saying I don't have body double, but then boom, here I am in Fetterman in different sweatshirt. Fetterman no act. Fetterman confused. Fetterman stupid. Fetterman. So yeah, there's a body double one. Here's another one here.
Hey, everybody, it's Bob Casey's birth. Can we all just cheer for him?
His birthday or his birth?
Woo, yay, Bob Casey. Hey, happy birthday, Bob Casey. Woo! Happy birthday.
He's really lame. Like,
happy birthday.
He just absolutely sucks. So he's coming out. He's there with Bob Casey. There's Bob Casey. It's his birthday. They're out together campaigning. Here he is with some woman taking a selfie. Some woman he's going to later. I mean, you can't really Fetterman smash anymore. He's just kind of pathetic and weak and denuded. There he is trying to, build back his girth at the pastry shop. There's Bob Casey Jr.
Hey, Bob Casey is running for re-election. Woo!
Woo!
Hey, can you chip in a little bit right now to give him the resources that he's going to need to fight back against the Republicans?
Exactly. Woo! So he's just posted. Look, he's got another one with Bob Casey talking about Pennsylvania. Bob Casey, like, these guys are dropping like flies over there in Pennsylvania. This is kind of something going on there in Tennessee, is it? Tennessee GOP. Nice hat. Congrats. Here he is about to, do some Children of the Corn type of thing with sunflowers. And then they are back at Easter. And so this is John J. Fetterman's. And that's his personal page. He also has a Senator John J. Fetterman. And he's a little bit more depressing over here because, he sucks at his job. I just want to add this. It's fun for me to make fun of the Fettermans. And that's the main purpose of my channel and, all this stuff. To do things like that. But there's something like more nefarious here. So Fetterman, when he first emerged from the bog, right? The swamp monster first emerged from the bog. It had to do with the election, covering the Dominion thing now. And he was lieutenant governor or something there and whatever in Pennsylvania. And he was a national, one of these crisis actor type of people that comes out. And he was, he looked like he was some sort of devil-worshipping ogre, these weird tattoos, and his way he talked. And he was certifying the election and talking about how the Republicans were trying to steal it. It was a big thing. Right? Pennsylvania was a big, key, dramatic thing in that whole Trump debacle, that whole, weird thing that happened. Not weird, just whatever it was. But this guy was certainly not a senatorial candidate, some guy who was going to make it on the national stage. But they forced him anyway. And he came out, and he was inarticulate, he was weird, he's goofy, and he sucks at his, the basic things that make a politician, public speaking and being able to relate to people and, being able to smile and all these things, right? And I'm not good at fake smiles, like but I'm not a politician, right? Like, he just sucks at all these things. And he's not smart, he's not good at anything, and he's not really qualified. He doesn't have the bare minimum. I mean, these lame national candidates, like he can't even be as good as Cory Booker, or he's not even good as Kamala. And they suck, right? They're not even, they're unlikable, insincere. But he can't even pull the just bare minimum off. And then they rolled out his witch-like handling wife. And it was like, wow, that's weird. And then he had a stroke and they ran him anyway. And he had that horrible debate where he's like drooling on himself. He was inarticulate before, but then he was, embarrassing in the debate. And America or Pennsylvania didn't care. Or, it's all whatever it is, right? And then he wins the election. And then he just craps out. Like he has a physical, he's dizzy and he says he hears everybody like they're the Peanuts characters. I mean, I've covered this. He's like the Peanuts characters heard the teacher and adults. Like that's what he said people sound like when they talk to him. And so he had physical aspects from, post-stroke issues. So he doesn't show up at his job for 2 weeks. He goes in for like a day or two, and then he checks himself into a mental institution because he's depressed. And then he comes out, and he's back to his old sucky self. And and he was interviewed, by that old woman on the CBS show. I forget her name. She used to be on the Today Show. Now she's relegated to, old people land, right? They have these shows like CBS Sunday Morning that's for older people. And she asked him if he has something beyond Senate. Like he hasn't even been able to work a day on the Senate floor. And she's asking him if he has presidential aspirations. And they might just get away with it. They might be able to elect this Satan-worshiping ogre to the presidency. I mean, I'm rooting for it. Like, if Fetterman is president, I mean, my channel's golden. Like, I'll have so much content, and I'll get so much joy out of it. Of course, we'll have a Satan-worshiping ogre as president, but, what's the difference, really, to what we have now? Stressed like the rest of us, robot collapses under pressure at exhibition. So he's showing you how he's going to be more efficient and do the work that people do. Kaboom! Dropping like flies. Probably should go in my other thing too. I'll put that in there. That isn't going to happen forever. Eventually they'll have robots that can work continuously, but that one just dropped like a fly. I'll cover that in my other video tomorrow on my other channel. So Jojo Magoo comes out. He's in Ireland here. So everyone else, the dog's perfectly fine with everybody else, right? Everyone else walks up. They're like, hey. And then Jojo Magoo comes. It's like, get away, you pedo. Don't touch me, you creep. And Jojo Magoo, just like he does, still staring at the dog. Like a just absolute freak, right? So I think this is some sort of deep fake thing one of my viewers sent me.
Of the media. Some members of the media.
Some members of the media.
Some members of the media use their platforms
to push their own personal bias.
To push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Unfortunately.
So that's happened. Historic U.S. dollar dump underway as government asset confiscation scares investors. Jeff Tucker. Economist and Bitcoin bull Jeff Tucker says that U.S. government has self-sabotaged the dollar's world reserve currency status. In an interview with NTD, Tucker says that the U.S. decision to seize tens of billions of dollars worth of assets from the Russian market, a major shift in history, when many realize that the U.S. dollar may not be the safe haven it once was. Just a matter of time. It's like pick your poison. Something's going to cause a collapse. Birth control of rats, don't laugh. It's a reality and cities want it. Contrapest, a product that had its start in UA research, could be the answer for the health department of New York City, which has a serious rodent problem on its hands. You ain't going to beat the rats. I'll tell you right now, you better make your peace with the rats because when I was a kid, I read this thing. It was by Time Magazine, back when there was possibly journalism. And it said the rats would survive the apocalypse. And it talked about how, rodents, like 1/4 of all mammals are rodents. Like it's incredible the amount of, it's something like 1/4 of them. Mice, voles, rats, so many different rodents, right? And rodents reproduce really quickly. So in terms of adaptability, a species that reproduces, I think it's every 24 days, and can have has a rapid reproduction rate, can evolve to learn how to live with radioactive poisoning or anything else, right? Rats can fit through the hole size of a quarter. They have all these abilities. They do well in water. They do watered areas, and they're one of the more intelligent creatures. And these rodents, they have 12 generations or 13 generations in 1 year of adaptability. And so if anything's going to survive, the cockroaches, there's creatures that are, more adaptable than others. Khloe Kardashian's hands look like the hands that I imagine lives under my bed and grabs my ankles in my sleep. Somebody had sent me this before. I don't know if I ever used it or ever put in a video, but yeah, this is a big one, and she's definitely gooling it up like that. Okay, two more things to get to here. This is, this speaks for itself.
Come on, bark like a dog for me. Come on.
I like to see the clip where Hillary Clinton was. Let me see if I can go find that right now. Totally gooling it up.
Republicans want to repeal it. They actually, with a straight
woman for Hillary, for H.
face, say that the Great Recession was caused by too much regulation on Wall Street. They actually say that.
That's what they say.
I remember when, I've supported.
Wow, she's so horrible at this, right? This is not for you, Hillary. You're not good at this at all.
My husband through all of his races in Arkansas. And
Arkansas, there was once a stripper named Dallas from Arkansas that was impregnated by the vice president's crackhead son. Did you know that?
One of my favorite political ads of all time was a radio ad, rural Arkansas, where the announcer said, wouldn't it be great if somebody running for office said something, we could have an immediate reaction as to whether it was true or not? Well, we've trained this dog, and the dog, if it's not true, he's going to bark. And then the dog was barking on the radio.
So this is the setup to her barking like a dog.
And so, people were like barking at each other for days after that. I'm trying to figure out how we can do that with the Republicans. We need to get that dog and follow them around, and every time they say these things, like, the Great Recession was caused by too much regulation. I think we could cut right.
I think you're on to something there, Hillary. You're not going to lose this election epically and then whine about it for the rest of your life. That's not going to happen. Hillary. Elon Musk reveals what he knows about alien existence. Elon Musk admitted Tuesday that he doesn't know whether alien life exists and that he wouldn't be able to keep it a secret if it was discovered. He was interviewed by Tucker Carlson. A lot of people ask me, where are the aliens? And I think if anyone would know about aliens on Earth, it would be me, Musk said. He said, yeah, I'm very familiar with space stuff, and I'm see no evidence of aliens. I would immediately tweet it out. That would be probably the top tweet of all time. We found one, you guys. It's the jackpot with some 8 billion likes. You think everybody in the world would like it if you saw an alien? There he is right there. Elon. Okay, so I'm going to get into aliens and the soul and things that I've talked about a little bit in the past, but I'm going to say, new stuff today that I think is, kind of important. I mean, I would say really important, but is anything really important at this point? But I got some comments yesterday. I read on my other video, my Apocalypse Now channel, Hollywood celebrities dropping like flies yesterday. And there's Dalai Lama trolls now. And they're defending his wanting a kid to suck his tongue. And then these other things, right? He's indefensible because he's a shill and he's, he pushed the vax and so many things. He's a big part of the UN agenda. I mean, he's, that guy, right? He's a completely controlled whatever he is. Fake spiritual leader. It's not just the tongue thing. Like maybe he's had a senior moment. It's senile, I mean, I've heard all these stories from people about their loved ones and what they say when they go senile. My wife was telling me a story of somebody she knows, dad or somebody went senile and he went into like a public place. It was saying goodbye, like a doctor's office or something. And they said goodbye, Fred or whatever his name was. They said, see you later, masturbator. Right? Amongst other things. Like you hear all these stories of what happens when people have Alzheimer's and, it's sad and funny, is whatever. So he could have had some kind of, he's an older guy, whatever. It's creepy though. And asking a kid to suck on his tongue. But that's not his only transgression. He is an out and out shill for this, agenda, whatever you want to call it. And it's been known for a long time in the truth community. It isn't like the Dalai Lama was great and then he had this one event. And he's apologized for it because everyone knows it looks weird. And it is weird. But then there's all these trolls that they're moving along two lines here. I'm going to read some more comments. One, he's beyond all this. He's doesn't have body consciousness and it's cultural and it's totally normal. And number two, that you have to watch the whole clip. You got to see the whole clip. They don't leave a link to the whole clip. And the whole clip totally makes it so that him asking a kid to suck his tongue is normal, right? And so somehow there's some other context to this, this thing when the Dalai Lama sticks out his tongue and asks a kid to suck it. It makes it normal and okay, right? And I'm going to get into more comments, new comments that came in. But I had one comment yesterday where the person put out these veiled threats. The same way that I got when I started criticizing Dodgy. I've done Sajmarg now for 30 years. And Dodgy's let us all down, whether people acknowledge it or not. And some of them do. And I started making videos about it and putting in a title. And then I had all these Dodgy supporters and other people who were against Dodgy coming to my channel. And it just sucked for me. It was stressful. Because I mean, Sajmarg has been a big part of my life, and Dodgy's wrecked it with this heartfulness thing. And people were saying, oh, my God, they're going to get you. And, people who are saying, like, I'm so concerned for you. You got to watch out. This is the way they do it. You're going to see it in this comment here. It's an Eastern thing. Right? This is their way of trying to scare you in some way to get you to take down your video, which, is censorship from the Dalai Lama supporters. Okay, so let's revisit the comment from yesterday, and then I got some new comments here. So this person wrote a long comment. Wait, that's not even it. That's a long comment from today. Here's the long comment from yesterday. And the person starts off like this. It's not weird. I still kiss my father, and I'm 40 years old. And so the person gets into sort of threatening me, these veiled threats. And I end up kind of, saying some things to the person, which I forgot about. And a couple of people commented on it. One of them I read last night and got me thinking about it. And what I said was this: go home and suck face with your father. And the person said, I literally laughed until I could not breathe. And then another person said, you got me cracking up at go home and suck face with your father, LOL. Because, the person said that, right? So the person writes, it's not weird. I still kiss my father, and I'm 40 years old. His love for the kid is no different than his love for the love a father will show for a child. Yeah, you don't express it by asking your kid, I feel so much love for you, suck my tongue. No, that's weird. There's no way that that's appropriate. It's weird. It's just not hygienic, right? It's just on a non-creepy level. It's just not sanitary as well, right? This is a Chinese propaganda, and this video is very old, but went viral later as they cut the clip to show that part where Westerners like you would easily eat what's put on your plate without asking what you are about to eat. He's asked the kid to suck on his tongue. You can't get around that. And this has to do with the Chinese expelling the Dalai Lama and being anti-religion. And the Chinese get lots of criticism, and they deserve probably almost all of it. I mean, except for COVID, which is a global activity, and the Dalai Lama sucking on a kid's tongue. If the Dalai Lama didn't ask the kid to suck on his tongue, then the Chinese wouldn't be able to use it as propaganda. And you can't, dismiss it. If you at least said, it's weird, but you came in saying you're 40 years old and you still make out with your dad. Yeah, okay. You're not a reliable source then. Your hunger for views and growing your channel is all you care about. Well, I care about quite a number of things, or don't care about anything. Either way you could look at it, right? But you're judging me from this short clip the same way that you're complaining about me judging the Dalai Lama. And you have a lot less evidence about what I care about than I have of evidence of how creepy the Dalai Lama is. The Dalai Lama's short clip is a lot more indicative of his creepiness. The person you are talking about is a living body of compassion, and if you really have to understand the person's history and life to understand the interaction, well, you're delusional about this guy. And it's not, he's not that. He's not a real guru. He is like this with all types of people from different backgrounds and age groups. Okay, he likes to get his tongue sucked. Is that what you're saying? I'm finding more humor in this comment today. His nature is innocent. You guys will all have a hard time understanding it. Believe nothing of what you hear and half of what you see. I would suggest you be careful. This is the person who's supposed to be, I said he was a Buddhist yesterday, and someone who was a Buddhist complained to me that he's not really a Buddhist. There's always these things. But that's what he's supposed to be. And so this is how you go about, and I got lots of these kinds of comments. You're hostile, and you're, denying what we're seeing here. And, you're threatening me, right? This is a veiled threat. You better be careful, right? This is the kind of mafioso organization that surrounds Dalai Lama. That his followers think they have to go out and spam people with their ridiculous defense of him and leave these veiled threats. And, this is supposed to be a spiritual organization or whatever it is. And so I suggest you would be careful. These protests starting to erupt all over the world because of this video. Everyone who is trying to defame him will have to answer. Come on. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Defaming the tongue-sucking Dalai Lama, his holiness. I already see everyone names on banner who are using their channel to defame him. I really suggest you have a better understanding of the situation and remove this post. All the people commenting are ghosts, and could be paid CPC member, and so could you. Yeah, I'm not, right? So Chinese have not cut me a check for making fun of a guy who asked a kid to suck on his tongue. I do that voluntarily. Be careful. You are literally making enemies every second. So that's the veiled threat, right? And then today, a person said, here, I have to make this a little bit bigger here. It says, hi, watch full video, then comment, why would you show us half a video? There's no way that you could put context around this. And I showed the other portion. So this is a short video that I made. I've showed the whole clip where he's kissing the kid, and I mean, it's just uncomfortable. Just the kid on his lap, right? The Dalai Lama was taken from his family to assume his role at the age of 4 or 5. He was brought up largely by monks. Well, why are you even saying that? Because that's okay. That makes it okay that the monks teach you how to ask people to suck your tongue. Is that what you're saying? And then another person, don't upload short clip without knowing full video. Just a few seconds, Sack. You don't know His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. Don't judge him for 5 seconds. Well, it's 5 seconds where he's asking a kid to suck his tongue. I mean, you can't get around that part of it, right? Here, watch full video, then judge. Nowadays, people judge a 4-second clip. Yeah, we get it, right? And I'm not showing you all the comments. I'm not reading all the comments here, but there's a number of them. Some of them, they're back to back, multiple people leaving multiple comments. And this person said, I stand with His Holiness Dalai Lama, live long His Holiness Dalai Lama. What about the Ukraine? You don't stand for the Ukraine? What's wrong with you? And then there's, I didn't read this clip. This is a long one. So the person writes here. Definitely have to make this one bigger. The person writes this. Many people around the world are still in darkness of confusion, illusion, shocked, misunderstanding, and it's all due to misrepresented viral clip. Just by watching a few seconds of manipulated clip, which has indeed created and cropped by Chinese. Well, no, because he apologized for it, right? He said those words. But many of them took further step in asking others or doing a bit of research, cleared their doubts and got to know the real truth. Experts say that if you are right, one doesn't have to explain. But yeah, sometimes we have to explain, even though we are on the truth side. To clear the doubt and to tell the real story, Chinese government always tries to defame H.H. Dalai Lama, His Holiness Dalai Lama, create hatred behind him and his followers. Since His Holiness resides in India, they pick this crop clip to create issues between Tibetan and Indian also. So yeah, truth has revealed, and many of us are underground as they can't face the truth. The lesson that we should learn from this is no matter what comes up, we have to be wise enough to do a little research before we conclude Jai Bharath and Tibet. And this person, she left another comment here. I don't have it here, but left another comment to another video and then posted this long comment on another video, maybe 2 of them. And so they're spamming you, right? They're going through, trying to do damage control. The guy asked the kid to suck his tongue. And, that's on him. Having the kid on his lap, all that stuff, it's weird. All these things. I mean, people got to understand how it's going to appear to a global audience. Just the other stuff, not the tongue part. The whole part was creepy. And if you read the Dalai Lama's spiritual energy, read his condition, he's just not that guy. He's not evolved. So one person wrote, and I'm not sure whether this person's a Dalai Lama fan or just joking, so why did he not suck his tongue? Blame the kid. Here's the other one here. Let me, again, make these bigger here for some reason there. It says here, I now know a day's world is full of cruel people. Maybe today's world is full of cruel people. They just want to harm and want to be superior in this world. Just stop posting the fake video. Again, this video was validated by fact checkers and it's been, mainstream media out and they apologize for it. So it's not fake, because why would the Dalai Lama write a statement apologizing? Dalai Lama didn't do any crime or abuse the child, never misjudged his conduct of love and compassion to other. Long live his holiness. Yeah, he also apologized to the family, right? This person, I'm going to unfollow you. You are not a man. And so so this person, I already read that one. And so there's one more comment here. And the person says here, let me just make this one bigger. As a Tibetan, or in our culture, it's normal to say old grandparents not only give a pop kiss to the small child, but always give candy or piece of food to children from their mouth, directly mouth to mouth, kind of like birds. Please don't understand or judge someone only from social media or from small video. There's more to that one. I didn't get it because it's all the same stuff. There's some great Tibetan movies out there. Somebody who, I guess it's Mongolian people. The Yellow Dog something or other. There's like a young woman who was who's Tibetan and became a filmmaker, and she made these wonderful Mongolian. I believe they're, it's similar. And they had these cool, just very subtle movies. I watched them with my, kids years and years ago. But, so I'm not anti-Tibetan or anti any of these things. And I don't even really care about the Dalai Lama all that much. He's just a United Nations shill. But I saw this, with Heartfulness and when Daji fell. And the world is just going, in that direction, right, where everything is compromised. Somebody asked me about Sadhguru, and I got a lot of comments. You can read those on the channel, what a fraud he is. I don't know that much about him. He seems, like one of these guru frauds. And then people ask me about Teal Swan, or someone said she left she said something positive about the Dalai Lama. And then somebody sent me a video today about Teal Swan's ex saying that she has a cult, and he was kind of abused and gaslit and things. Whatever's going on. But I would just say, be very hesitant. The Sajmarg system, Master Charji was such a, just my experience with him, of him being just this divine being, right? Just somebody that had ascended to a higher level and was just all about service. In the, a very sincere, non-posing way, right? A way that, the service was done oftentimes without the people even know what he was doing. And so, and before him, Babaji and Lalaji, the other masters of the system. And there are safeguards put in place, and the transmission and the essence of the system that, we're now doing in something called Gratefulness, which people who watch this channel and have left Heartfulness because they're, seeing the same corruption and things. And I'm doing another Journey Series video on this. Almost done with that. And there's just always more information coming, all these people who are disgruntled with him. But I would be, very hesitant to think, all right, this guy sucks, so I'll go find another guru. Because I think it's just that time where every organization and everyone's going to be compromised as we head into the collapse of the system. And, it's just corruption is it's spreading. It's been like magnified, especially to do with religion, certainly governments and things like that as well. So I want to talk about alien life and, extraterrestrial life, off-planet life. But first, and more importantly, I want to talk about the soul. Because the soul is overlooked. The Atman, as it was first called, it was discovered in ancient India. And in Sanskrit, Atman means soul. And now, throughout the world, religious leaders and religions and spiritual people believe there's a soul. And I don't think most people give this much thought, that you have a soul. Because before, you just were some biological creature. This is what animals believe, and this is all you are. This is what you are. This is you, your physical body. That's what you are. But then the idea of a soul is that there's something beyond your physical body. And it's something that's an important discovery. that most people who believe in a soul don't give any credence to or any really thought of it, right? It's like you're an avatar in a video game and you realize your code, that movie Free Guy, an NPC, right? That you're some sort of a code, and that's what you really are. That your physical body and the physical third dimensional reality is an illusion. That this is Maya, that this isn't your real life, that your soul is eternal, and your soul is encapsulated and in your body for a short period of time. So then this isn't your real life. So what does your soul want from you? What is your soul, what's your soul's goal? Because you have individual goals as a human being. You have your desires, your comforts, your physical pleasures, your things that you want to do, things that you don't want to do, things you want, things that you want to avoid, all these things on the physical level. But what does your soul expect from your body? What is your soul's purpose here? And what's the nature of your soul? And what do you have to gain from this incarnation and, this life, this physical life that you have, right? And almost nobody asks those questions because, everyone's been so dumbed down and people don't think about such things. But it's really important. The idea that this is an illusion and your life isn't, your real life. The life of your soul is your real life. That's your eternal essence that is much greater than your physical, even your mental capabilities here, your physical reality and you as a person, right? And so to talk about that in terms of extraterrestrials or aliens, if there is soul energy, where does the soul energy come from? Like, where does souls come from? Where was the soul beforehand? Where are souls when they're not in a physical body? What's the essence of a life of a soul? And, there's this idea of soul families, spiritual families that come together and connect with other soul members, people that you have a soul relationship with, right? Soulmates, things like this. People talk about things in that way. And there are certain people that you just click with, right? That you feel some sort of a connection with. And many other people that are just like NPCs, that you talk to them for a brief period of time and there's nothing there. Master Chargy said, you have to have a past life with somebody, and it meant not necessarily a past life on Earth, but some sort of, past experience, and even on a soul level, to have a conversation for more than 3 minutes. And you can see in these conversations that just die when you have, no real connection with people, that within a 3-minute period, there's nothing to talk about. And you've both made the decision that you want to go somewhere else, right? There's no connection there. There's just nothing between you. Where other people you have a connection with, even if it's a negative connection, right? Even if it's, something where there's some kind of conflict to be worked out, there's still some sort of soul relationship there. And so understanding that there are groups of souls, and those souls come from different parts of either the etheric realm or, they're in some sort of other part of the universe. And if that's true, well, wouldn't it be easier to invade Earth instead of moving massive amount of spaceships here and things like this? Wouldn't it be easier to invade Earth through your soul energy, collective people from one group or another? This is, part of the theme of my book, The Choice, that there's these, negative entities that are coming from their destroyed universe, and they're manifesting, they're creating life here, they're incarnating here on planet Earth, right? And, I was thinking about this, I haven't thought about this in a while, but I was thinking about this recently. There are people that you can't communicate. They're on a different frequency. They see the world in a completely different way. There are people who are very rule-based, and there are people who are just so blocked, and when you go to talk to them, you feel drained, and they're just like nefarious, and they're on some different, level. There's people that you just can't connect with, and their way of viewing the world and your way of viewing the world will never be compatible. And dealing with these people is, horrible, and it almost always ends up in conflict, and it's almost like there's, some hidden soul war between people like you and people like them, and it plays out in various ways here on planet Earth. So this idea that people are all the same, well, physically we're similar, right? Human beings are similar. We have different characteristics, ethnicities and nationalities and races and wherever it is, right? But our internal world and the soul that manifests our internal world is quite different. There are, so many variations of types of people and the vibrations they give off and all these things. And it's becoming more and more obvious. Like, it's getting harder and harder to tolerate people who are vibrating on some kind of, batshit crazy frequency, right? Like, it's harder and harder to deal with them. And you can't see it on a physical level. It's not like it's one race of people, one group of people, or political identification, but it's who they are as people. And you can't have a conversation with them. You can't come to some sort of consensus. You can't come to sort of any kind of an agreement. You're just wasting your time. I see this with commenters all the time, people with an agenda, and they're just so warped and, so, like screwed up on a soul level, on a spiritual level, at least on the subtle body level. They're so disconnected, or their orientation to the world is a demonic one, and they're here for, anti-God purposes, and they have a collective agenda, and they're descending into human bodies like, some sort of a, Borg-like creation, right? And, that's what we're dealing with. Only spirituality will save this world. Its power model definitely pointing for the apocalypse and the ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.